Jesus, the Master of Man. Jesus with his apostles moved on and stayed near Amatus for nearly 3 weeks. The apostles preached twice a day to a large group of interested people, and Jesus preached every Sabbath afternoon. The influx of people made it impossible to continue with their weekly day off, so Andrew arranged for 2 apostles to rest each day, except the Sabbath. Peter, James, and John had the largest share of public preaching. Philip, Nathaniel, Thomas, and Simon did much personal pastoring and supervised groups interested in particular topics. The twin brothers continued with their general supervisory work, while Andrew, Matthew, and Judas developed into a committee of 3 that conducted general administration. Although each of these 3 also did important religious work. Andrew emerged as a kind of mediator, who set himself the task of correcting the recurrent misunderstandings and disagreements between John's disciples and the new believers. Every few days, these situations would arise. Andrew then tried to get the disputing parties to focus on the forms in which both principles agreed. Jesus refused to participate in any of these discussions, nor did he ever want to give advice on how they could rectify these difficulties. Not once did he suggest how the apostles should solve these confusing problems. When Andrew came to Jesus with these issues, he always said, "It is not wise for the host to take part in the family difficulties of his guests." Wise parents never take sides in the petty quarrels of their own children. The Master exhibited great wisdom and showed perfect fairness in all his dealings with everyone. Jesus was truly a master of men. He exerted a great influence on his fellow men by the combined charm of strength and personality. A respectful influence emanated from his tough, nomadic life. His authoritative method of teaching, his clear logic, the power of his reasoning, his astute insight, his matchless balance, and his sublime forbearance were intellectually attractive. A spiritual attraction emanated from them. He was simple, masculine, honest, and fearless. This physical and intellectual authority that Jesus exuded was reflected in patience, tenderness, gentleness, kindness, and humility. The pictures your artists have made of Jesus in later times have been very unfortunate. These paintings of the Christ have had a harmful effect. The merchants in the temple really would not have fled from Jesus had he been a man as your artists depicted him. He had a dignified masculinity. He was good, but natural. Jesus did not present himself as a gentle, sweet, tender, and kind mystic. His teaching was excitingly dynamic. He not only meant well, but he actually went around doing good. The Master never said, "Come to me all who are confused or dreamy." Many times, however, he said, "Come to me all who labor and I will give you rest." By this is meant spiritual strength. The Master's yoke is indeed light, but God will never impose it. Each individual must choose to take up this yoke out of his own free will. Jesus taught and lived how to overcome our ego by giving up pride and selfishness. By showing mercy, he mirrored spiritual salvation from resentment, grievances, wrath, revenge, and lust for selfish power.